In this video, I'm going to share with you some of my top tips for increasing workout motivation and consistency. If you often start an exercise regime with good intentions but soon you give up, the tips in this video can help you. As you can see, I've had a costume change, and the reason I'm wearing this robe is because a lot of people at nighttime, they have really good intentions about doing some exercise the following day. They say to themselves at night, I'm going to wake up, and then shortly after waking up, I'm going to do some exercise. But what often happens in the morning is a person might roll out of bed and then they'll throw on a robe over top of their pajamas. Or they might wake up and put on some sweatpants and a sweatshirt. But it can be really difficult to want to take off that robe or take off your pajamas and put on exercise clothing. You get really comfortable sitting around the house in your comfortable clothing. So what I like to do is, first thing in the morning when I wake up, if I plan to exercise on a particular day, is I will wake up and I will put on my exercise clothing right away. I actually don't wear a robe, but anyways, if you wake up in the morning and you put on your exercise clothing right away, that's going to increase the chances of you working out. If you have your clothing on, that's going to give you an incentive to not want to not exercise. So first thing in the morning, if you want to exercise, take off your pajamas if you wear pajamas. If you sleep without any clothes, very easy. Just put on your exercise clothing right away, and then you can put on your robe over top if you want, or throw on a sweatshirt and go about your morning. But just the fact that you have on your exercise clothing, you're probably not going to want to take it off before you do exercise. So that tip can be really helpful. Another great tip is to consume in small amounts something that you really enjoy before a workout. So for me, I love drinking coffee. I find that it increases my mood, increases my alertness, and gives me extra stamina during my workouts. So I often drink coffee before I exercise. Maybe you like green tea or other teas, or maybe there's something else that you like, but you don't want to consume too many calories just before a workout, because it can make digestion difficult and it can make you a little sluggish during workouts. So try to consume something, if you enjoy it, that's relatively low in calories and doesn't make you feel sluggish or low on energy. For me, I love coffee, and I've talked about it a lot in previous videos. An extremely important tip is to give your body and mind the proper fuel and nutrition it needs to exercise. If you're eating a lousy diet, chances are you're not going to have much energy or enthusiasm for working out. If you eat a diet devoid of nutrition, you're probably going to feel quite sluggish. But if you give your body good fuel, good nutrition, you'll probably want to work out. So very important, try to eat well. You don't have to eat well all the time, but try to eat well most of the time. So eat good proteins like meat, fish, eggs, dairy if you can, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds if you can tolerate them. Grains if you like them and you can tolerate them. Just try to put good food into your body. I tend to classify good food as food with not a lot of ingredients. An egg, the only ingredient is egg. Carrots, peppers. So when I buy food, I try to buy foods, and I look at the ingredients and make sure there's not a lot listed on the ingredients. Choosing a form of exercise or physical activity that you really enjoy doing. If you love doing something or you really enjoy doing something, that's going to increase the chances of you doing that activity. I love jumping rope, so I don't need motivation to go outside really and jump rope because it's something I really enjoy doing. Ice hockey or rollerblading, those are other things I really enjoy doing. So no one has to ask me to go out and do those forms of activity. Other forms of sport, maybe I don't necessarily like as much, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to find the willpower or motivation to continue doing those exercise activities. So for example, if you say to yourself, you want to run on a treadmill every day for 1 month for say 20 minutes at a time, but you don't really like running for one thing, or you don't like being on a treadmill, then that's going to be very difficult to stick to that goal. So really important, choose forms of physical activity that you enjoy. Not what your friends might enjoy or maybe what a family member enjoys, but what you really enjoy. If you love punching a heavy bag, great, maybe buy a heavy bag or join a boxing club. If you love yoga, fantastic, join a yoga club. Do something you enjoy. If you love doing something, you're going to find it a lot easier to continue doing that. Equally important to choosing a form of exercise that you enjoy is having good reasons, or a good reason for why you're exercising. If you join a yoga club, for instance, just because your friends are doing it but you don't really like yoga, chances are you're not going to stick with that. You need a good reason for why you're exercising. So let's say, for example, you went to a doctor recently and you found out that your blood pressure is high or your blood sugar levels are high. that is good motivation to stick to a healthier diet and an exercise program, because you want to reduce those for health. Or let's say, for example, you plan a trip to a beach resort in the near future. Maybe you want to achieve a better body shape. You want to lose some body fat so you can look better on the beach or feel better in a swimsuit. That's good motivation for wanting to work out. I have a friend, and he has 2 children. He recently had his 2nd child, and he started working out really intensely because he wants to improve his health so he can have a longer and better life with his children, and that's a great reason.
Have a vision.
Another very important tip is to set goals for yourself. Let's say, for example, you want to exercise more often. You want to set goals that are specific. Don't just say to yourself, I'm going to exercise more often. Set a specific goal. For example, 5 days a week, I'm going to go for a walk 30 minutes on each of those 5 days. Maybe you want to increase the number of push-ups you can do. Say to yourself, I'm going to do 50 push-ups every day for 1 month. You don't necessarily have to do all those push-ups in one set, but you can do them throughout the day. Most important is to try to hit that target of 50 push-ups every day. And when you set goals, it's a really good idea to think big, have big dreams, but you also want to be realistic. Let's say, for example, the maximum number of push-ups that you can do in one set is 5. A good goal might not be to say, I'm going to do 100 push-ups every day for 30 days because one of your friends is doing it. Set a goal that's realistic for you. If your maximum number of push-ups is 5, maybe aim for doing 20 push-ups every day for 30 days. And then once you accomplish that goal, next time set an even bigger goal. And once you accomplish that, an even bigger goal. As motivational speaker Eric Thomas would say, small steps, great distances. Make a little progress all the time, and eventually you'll be making big progress. So set small, realistic goals for yourself, accomplish those, and keep making them bigger, and over time, you'll be doing big things. Another great tip is to get yourself a calendar, and when you exercise on a particular day, give yourself a check mark. A visible reminder of an accomplishment like this can be a great incentive to continue exercising in the future. Because if you plan to exercise, say for example on Thursday, May 10th, and you don't, you're going to be a little disappointed if that box is not ticked. So putting ticks or a check mark, for example, on a calendar can be very helpful for continuing to exercise. I actually got this tip, I believe, from the comedian Jerry Seinfeld. He used to set himself goals for particular days, and on his calendar he would check off the day. And then after a while, you don't want to see any box without a check mark or something like that. So as you can see on this calendar, I have 2 check marks so far. I like to use check marks because they're a positive symbol, and I've always liked the Nike swoosh symbol since I was a kid. But you can see I've got 2 check marks in a row, and right now I've set myself a 30-day challenge. So I hope I'll have all 30 days with check marks in them in a row. And another great thing which you can do with calendars is, at the top you can have a picture of something that gives you extra motivation to work out. So here on this calendar I have some pictures of my beautiful little nieces, and I often see them and I think to myself, what kind of example or role model do I want to be for them when I grow up? And it often gives me extra motivation or incentive to follow through with a goal that I set. Or you could put some pictures of people that you really admire, or put some famous quotes that you really like. And just seeing those pictures or reading those quotes can give you extra motivation when you find your will is a little bit lacking one day. Another great tip is doing a physical activity that you enjoy with other people that also enjoy the activity. Sure, a lot of people, they like to exercise alone, and I often like exercising alone, but sometimes it's nice to work out with other people. So let's say, for example, you have a friend that likes to go rollerblading or hiking. Maybe you can do it together, or maybe you'd like to be around a larger group of people, so you could join a team sport. There's great camaraderie with being involved in a team or exercising with other people. You can talk with each other, you can share some laughs, you can bounce ideas off each other. You could even vent or complain about things that are going on in your life. So not only can you help kind of clear your mind, but you can also get a great workout in at the same time. And when you exercise or work out with other people, it can really help hold you accountable. No one wants to cancel or avoid going to practice because they're going to let other people down. So you have to kind of work together and help each other out. So it can be fantastic for increasing workout motivation and making your workouts more enjoyable.
Ignore the naysayers.
Another tip is doing what Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, avoiding naysayers. Sometimes when you want to make improvements in your life, you want to improve your lifestyle, some people that you hang around with, maybe they might not want to see you making these changes. Or if you're doing an activity that maybe your friends don't necessarily enjoy doing, they might not want you to do it because they want to spend time with you. That's a great thing. You're a very popular person. But sometimes other people might try to get in the way of our goals because our goals are not their goals. If someone's trying to distract you or to get you to stop doing something that you want to accomplish, sometimes you have to maybe distance yourself from them a little bit or find some people that support you. That's why it can be a good idea to exercise or practice team sports because you're involved with like-minded people. So sometimes when you're on your path to achieving a goal, you might have to avoid distractions, avoid listening to negativity or people that might not want you to accomplish your goals. So sometimes you'll have to avoid the naysayers. Another great tip is to take your exercise outside. A lot of people, they exercise indoors and that can become monotonous. So let's say, for example, you often go to a gym and you run on a treadmill or you lift weights. Why not go to a park or to a running track and run outside, or go to a playground and do some pull-ups or push-ups or other calisthenics? Exercising outside can have some enormous benefits for your mind and body. If it's sunny, you get some vitamin D. Exercising outside close to nature has been shown to reduce stress, reduce depression, reduce fatigue, and improve mood. So if you find that exercising indoors is starting to become a little bit monotonous, maybe all you need is a change of scenery. Exercise outside one day, maybe go for a walk, swim on a beach, go for a hike, jump rope outside if you always jump rope inside. And I think you're going to find that really helpful. Another very important tip, when you set yourself a goal, let's say for example you say to yourself, for this week I'm going to do 50 push-ups every day. If you accomplish that goal, reward yourself afterwards. If you love eating chocolate, go out and buy yourself some delicious chocolate. If you like taking baths, have warm baths. If you like listening to music, maybe go out and buy a new CD or download a CD. But reward yourself. By giving yourself a reward, it's going to increase the chances of you exercising in the future. And it's also going to make you feel really good for following through and accomplishing your goal. Another great tip is just exercising when you want to exercise. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people, they set goals for themselves. For example, New Year's resolutions. And they might say, I'm going to wake up every morning really early and I'm going to go for a run. The problem is, a lot of people that set these kind of goals aren't morning people. So it's very difficult to stick to a goal like that because they're going against their natural instincts or their natural inclinations. If you're a night owl and you like staying up late, perhaps working out in the morning might not be the best thing for you. If you like working out in the afternoon, work out in the afternoon. When you work out at a time when your mood is good and your energy levels are good, chances are you're going to stick with that.
To be the best, you got to work overtime.
Another great tip before you plan to exercise is to watch videos or listen to music, interviews, podcasts, or speeches that you find very inspiring. If I'm going to go use a heavy bag, for example, I often watch boxing footage of Floyd Mayweather or listen to interviews with Floyd Mayweather or other great boxers. And I often find that gives me extra energy and enthusiasm for working out. If you love swimming, maybe you'll watch footage or listen to interviews with Michael Phelps. I just find videos, music can be very uplifting before a workout. And some people even like listening to music during workouts because they find that really increases their energy, their mood, and their likelihood of exercising. So you can do that too.
I'm out there at 4 or 5 in the morning, working, to this day.
Another very important tip is connected with discipline. There are going to be some days where you don't feel like exercising or you don't feel like sticking with your healthy eating plan. But on those days, you're going to need to dig deep and find the discipline. I know myself, there are some days when I don't necessarily feel like doing something, but I know that once I get started, it's a lot easier to finish out that day's activity. Oftentimes, getting started is the most difficult part. But once you start, it's a lot easier to finish what you set out doing. It's funny, oftentimes humans, we're our biggest enemies. We sabotage ourselves. If we set a goal for ourselves in the future, oftentimes we want to trade that goal for present success or present happiness. So for example, I know that if I want to lose body fat, maybe eating a bunch of donuts and candy and and ice cream and fast food is not going to help me achieve that goal. It might make me feel better right now, but I know later on today and tomorrow, it's not going to help me achieve my goal, and it's not going to make me happy. So if you set yourself a goal, you're going to just have to work hard, have discipline. And on the days when you don't feel like doing something, I guarantee that after you do that activity, you're going to feel really good about yourself for digging deep and accomplishing that. And that's going to give you more momentum to continue doing what you set out to do. In the previous tip, I talked about the importance of discipline, which is really important to achieving your goals. But sometimes if you're working really hard to achieve a goal, you might push yourself so hard that eventually your energy levels will drop, your mood will drop, and you might even become a little bit gloomy or depressed. And it'll be very hard to exercise or follow through with your diet when you're feeling like that. So sometimes you might have to take one step backwards to go two forward. Maybe what you need is a little bit of rest and recovery. Sometimes rest and recovery is the best thing to, afterwards you'll have a lot more energy and enthusiasm for an activity. So at the present time, if you take a rest, you might feel like you're kind of going off your course to achieving your goal, but it might actually be the best thing for you. Listen to your body. If you keep pushing yourself, you might really zap your energy levels, your mood, and you might even risk injury. So listen to your body. If you really feel like you need a rest, take a little bit of time off, but then make sure you get back on your path to achieving your goals. One thing I often find out myself, if I'm trying to learn a skill, sometimes I'll work so hard and I'll try my hardest to learn that skill. I'll devote a lot of time, and sometimes I might not be making a lot of progress, and I become a little bit frustrated. In those particular moments, sometimes the best thing for me is rest. I know when I rest and then I go back to the activity, not only do I have more enthusiasm for it, but it seems like my ability, my skill level has actually increased. I think something often happens when you rest in your brain. If you've been practicing a skill for a long time, if you take a rest, during that rest period, your brain can kind of help learn that skill. I often find that. Hey everyone, I really appreciate you watching this video, and I really hope that you found the tips helpful. If you found them helpful, maybe some of your friends or family members also might find them helpful. So please consider sharing this video with them. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, maybe comment down below, and consider subscribing to my channel. Alright, thanks for watching. You're still here? It's over. Go home.